Guys, what's up? Coach Justin Marc back with a new video. Now, I got a message recently from one of our viewers, and he asked me, Justin, how do you know if your girl is a gold digger? How do you know if your girl's with you for what you got, your money, your car, your house, your job, your career, or maybe in your circle, the people around you, or if it's truly for who you are? Now, okay, this is a funny story. This is actually how I got into the game in the first place. I remember being 17 years old, going to my high school prom, and I had a prom date. Now, I had saved up about $1,000, okay, over the course of 4 years. That was like my life savings. And for me, for everyone, prom was like the end all. I was thinking, okay, I can lose my virginity, we can go to this crazy party, and it's just like my chance to say goodbye to these people that I went to school with for the last 4 years. And I was thinking I'm gonna go all out. Now, what I noticed was that the girl I had asked to prom, and this was like this was really like me getting into the game. I noticed that she wasn't manipulative necessarily, but, you know, I would offer her to, you know, I was like, hey, I'm going to buy your ticket for the prom, right? It was like 75 bucks, right? Or I'll buy your alcohol, or I'll pay for like your limousine ride or whatever, right? And then I dropped a ton of money on like a suit and just balling out, right? I wanted to impress this girl, and I obviously liked her a little bit, right? And I remember at the prom after party, she got drunk and tried to kiss my friend. And I was just mind blown that, you know, we live in a situation in a society where, you know, even if you're the nicest guy, the sweetest guy, and you're providing for a girl, you know, her instincts, her hormones, her intuitive being, it's oftentimes not telling her to go for you, the nice guy. It's usually going to be telling her to go for the bad boys, go for like those player guys, go for that guy she's just naturally attracted to. And that's what these girls will do. So oftentimes we see a lot of guys who, you know, work really hard in their career, their business, their money. They get their money up, they get their situation together. And what you'll find is these are the types of guys who never actually worked on themselves. You know, they never really understood their core masculinity. They never did meditation. They never really like got to know who they are inside, and it caused a lot of problems in their relationships, right? Recently, this is really crazy. I was contracted to fly to a city to try to hook up with a dude's wife because the dude wants a way out of his relationship. So this is really weird. I know this sounds crazy, but essentially he was paying me about $500 per hour to phone call his wife and, you know, play a character. We named me Marc, and he literally offered me 10K US dollars to fly to a city for a day, game this girl, hook up with his wife so that he can like catch her cheating, because he already knows that she's cheating, but he wants to like catch her so he has like a way to end the relationship and he won't get screwed over in the divorce and in his community. So this is kind of like the life a lot of guys are living, where, you know, you're not in abundance, you don't have options, and you're not getting the results you want to get. And oftentimes, when you do, right, it ends up being with someone who is a little bit manipulative, or who's a little bit taking advantage of you, or doesn't completely understand your value. Now, you got to understand something here. This is not the fault of a woman. This is not because of gold diggers or whatever. It's your fault, bro. It is your fault, because you got to learn the game, and you got to level yourself up. Now, here's the thing, man. We, as humans, are opportunistic. If you see a situation where you can gain advantage, whether it be money or some sort of status or anything that you are incentivized on, well, you know what's crazy? You're going to obviously go for it. You're opportunistic. I am too. We all are opportunistic, right? And it's crazy how, you know, some guy literally offered me 10 grand today to fly to his city to hook up his wife, and I said, no, I can't do it, you know, maybe next month, right? But it's insane where, you know, I've had girlfriends who I knew in the back of their mind, they were so happy that they were with a guy who had money. Now, if you are in this type of relationship, you need to really figure out, first of all, are you in a relationship where your girlfriend is a gold digger, or your spouse, your wife, whoever you're with? Now, you also got to look back to how the relationship started. Like, for example, did it start on a sugar daddy website? Like, are you her sugar daddy? Did you meet her on a sugar daddy website and that was like the dynamic from the beginning? When you met her, were you like kind of spending money on her, and did she just kind of get used to that? or did it kind of change along the way? So I had a girlfriend who I met her on the street, beautiful girl, super, super sexy, and she had a really high status career. So a lot of the guys she had met before me were like millionaires, famous celebrities. A lot of the guys she hooked up with were literally like A-list celebrities, like people whose like content you've consumed, people whose like movies you watched, right? It's pretty fucking crazy, right? And I'm like, shit, this girl's with me, the 5'4", 115-pound Indian. Strange, okay? Well, the reason she was with me was because the emotions I was able to give her. I was able to make her feel a certain type of way emotionally and inside of herself. And so what happened was, after she knew how much money I made, she started to kind of change a little bit. Like, she saw that I was able to make a lot of money. Like, for example, I just mentioned someone offered me 10 grand for like 1 day's of work, and I said no, because I don't really need the money, and it would be a little bit inconvenient for where I'm at right now in life, right? Because I can make 10 grand in a day. I already know how to do that. It's not a big deal for me. And obviously, you know, a woman who doesn't make that kind of money or have that kind of financial situation, she saw me do that one day. I think she saw me like make like $8,000. I remember telling her, I'm kind of bored, I don't want to go to sleep yet. And I was like, before we go to sleep, I'm just gonna do some work. And I was like, babe, I just made like, all this money. This is great. And I remember the look in her eyes. She almost didn't believe me. And I was like, yeah, whatever. This is like kind of how I do business, right? And it made me realize that moment, she started to see me and perceive me a little bit different. After that, she would always make jokes about buying her fake boobs. And, she would kind of like be a little bit opportunistic in that kind of way. And it makes sense because, once again, we're humans. We are opportunistic creatures, right? The same way, if you were to give your dog a tasty, delicious dog treat, he's not going to say no. In the same way, if a woman sees you as a man who can take care of her, provide for her, give her the experiences she wants, not only emotionally, because, that's what you do when you learn game, but also like financially, right? She's going to try to take advantage of that as much as possible. So it kind of just makes sense, right? So I'm going to give you guys advice in a moment on how to avoid that. But first, we want to figure out how to make sure this doesn't happen, and how to recognize if a girl you're dating or a girl you're seeing is a gold digger or is using you in any way for money. So you want to look at her subtle behavior cues. Is she with you for you, or is she with you for the money? Are you spending money on her? So statistically speaking, men make up 80% of the economy. They generate 80% of the revenue for businesses. And this is like a worldwide statistic. So overall, as a society, in any city, in any country, that's typically how it is. To go even further, usually it's like a small percentage of men that are generating most of the revenue. But regardless, 80% of the money is made by men in society. 80% of it is spent by women, okay? It's crazy how that works, but it's true. And if you look at most commerce, most advertisements, most marketing, typically it's geared towards women, right? And it's crazy. Like, one of the biggest one of the biggest industries is like makeup or fashion. If you look online, a lot of YouTubers, content creators, brands, it's all like makeup and fashion, right? So it's interesting how this works. So if your girl is golding you, as long as you're in a financial position to support it, I guess it's not that big of a deal, right? If your woman is high quality and high status and someone who supports you and brings you up, but you want to actually look deep into your relationship and figure out, is she really there for you, or is she there for the lifestyle you give her and what kind of experiences you're providing her? Oftentimes, relationships change over time, but you need to kind of weigh the pros and the cons. Where are you in terms of how much value you're experiencing for this relationship and how much value you're giving into it, as well as like how much money and time and effort and opportunity cost you're putting into it, right? Like, for example, all the time you spend with that woman, could you be spending it on building your career? Could you spend that with other women? Could you spend that on making more money, growing your business, following your passions, following your dreams? Or are you gonna, give it all to that woman? Now, it might be worth it. In a lot of cases, oftentimes, that opportunity cost to spend that time with that woman, it's worth it if it's a great woman that you're enjoying her company and you have that really deep chemistry and connection. But oftentimes it isn't worth it. So you gotta know when it's time to pull the plug. Now, we're gonna talk real quick about how to avoid gold diggers. What you wanna do is make sure you don't flex on these hoes, okay? You wanna make sure that you're not like bragging about how much money you make, because to be honest, it's only ever caused me problems. It's only ever caused me problems when women know my financial situation. It's only ever caused me really big fucking problems. I can't even talk about it in this video. It's a whole topic for another video, but it's caused me like very deep problems. In fact, if I think about it, every single relationship problem I've ever had actually tied back to them knowing my financial situation. So a lot of guys will watch my content, they'll see my infields, they'll see my results, they'll see me pulling, and they'll say, ugh, gold diggers, or Justin paid these girls or something. No, I didn't. I know the skills of cold approach, pickup, and seduction, and I go out and I practice this stuff. But what's crazy is, you know, most of those girls I meet, there's no like transactional value involved. Because usually, if there is, it usually goes downhill. They start acting weird. They start acting like gold diggers. They don't want to hook up with me. They don't want to hook up with a fun guy. They want to kind of try to extract value, which, again, humans are opportunistic, and that kind of makes sense. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you never tell a woman, or really anyone really, how much money you make. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't tell people how much money you make, because now they have information they can use against you. For example, you're out with your girl, you just don't feel like buying her something that day, and she really wants you to buy her something that day. Well, look, you could just kind of lie, a little white lie, and say, oh, sorry, baby, I can't afford it, right? Even if you're like a millionaire, right? And it has nothing to do with you spending money or you know, wanting or not wanting to buy her a certain thing or object or piece of clothing or whatever. It's simply the fact that there's a lot of these power dynamics where a woman will try to get you to say yes to little things, so try to get you to buy a thing here and there, and it just keeps adding up and adding up and adding up. One of my friends, he had about $70,000 in cash, and he ended up just wasting it on women because they knew how much money he made. And then he had a girlfriend who ended up putting him in debt. So he went from like 70,000 plus to negative 30 grand. So he lost like about $100,000 in a 2-year period, and financially ruined because he just kept dating gold digger after gold digger after gold digger. And if you don't believe me that he was dating gold diggers, his first girlfriend was a stripper, second one was a sugar baby, and the third one was an ex-prostitute, right? So obviously not the best choice of partners for my friend, right? But it completely ruined him financially. And so you gotta logically audit your relationship, audit the dynamic, and really take a step back and look, because when you're in that relationship, it can be very difficult to figure out, you know, what the situation is. Like, is she using me, or is this normal? Like, is this a normal part of a relationship? I was just confused at times, because like when I have a girlfriend and I'm financially responsible for her, taking care of her or whatever, because oftentimes that does happen. Oftentimes it doesn't. Oftentimes, you know, your girl's gonna make more money than you, right? Well, it's best that she has no idea how much money you make. It's best that you don't even talk about money or bring that into a relationship, and keep your finances separate, because every relationship has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And, you know, at the end of your relationship, you just don't want to feel like you owe her anything, right? You're going separate ways, and you also don't want her to start, you know, let's say you're in the middle and you know it's like coming towards the end, right? You don't want her to start trying to extract more value from you. This happens all the time. I've seen it, right? Like a girl will get a guy to pay for a boob job, right? And then she'll dump him. And then like, whoa, I'm out 10 grand and this girl just left me and I just paid for her tits. Now she's with another guy. So you want to try your best to, you know, figure out the behavioral patterns from the beginning and notice the behavior of that woman. Because a lot of women have horrible spending habits. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of women have great spending habits. I look at my sister. I have an older sister. She is so smart. We're really close, actually. And, you know, she saved up all her money, invested it into real estate, and now she's really well off in real estate, right? And it's amazing because, you know, I had an ex-girlfriend who was the same age as my sister. And this girl was broke as hell, financially reliant on all her ex-boyfriends or her dad, and then at some point when I started dating her, financially reliant on me. And she had no savings, even though she pretty much made the same amount of money as my sister, which was crazy, right? And it's insane because you got to look at those habits and the behaviors and see, you know, is this a good situation to be in, to get yourself involved in? And then you also need to look at the way she behaves around you if she tries to use you in any way, shape, or form for anything. she's reliant in any single way. Like, it could even be a small thing, right? Like, even you paying for coffee. Now, I'm not saying don't pay for coffee. I'm not saying don't pay for drinks or dinner or whatever it is when you're going out. But it's like, does she offer to pay the bill? Does she offer to go 50-50? Does she offer to, pitch in, right? My buddy Brad, he was seeing a girl when we were down in Mexico. And this woman, she was earning $40 per week, $160 per month selling newspapers. Broke as broke. Like, that's like the brokest girl I've ever seen in my life, right? Really sweet girl, though. And when they hung out, she offered to pay for the drinks. And it's like, that's like half your week's wages for the drinks. Like, what the hell, right? I remember seeing a girl who I knew didn't have any money. She was affected by the COVID situation, in the same situation. She was trying to pay for drinks. And then, on the other hand, you'll have girls who expect you to pay for everything. Here's a good situation. So I have a buddy who sold his company for about $40 million, okay? And he's really financially well off. And, he just had a baby recently in the last couple of years with his baby mama, he's pretty much his third wife, okay? And even though he's a millionaire, he purposely, so him and his wife are not married. They have a interesting relationship where they're in a common law relationship. So she gets a citizenship in Canada, but she doesn't have access to half his money, right? Now, he loves his kid, takes care of his kid, and even helps out his baby mama, even though they're separating. They're going in separate ways, okay? They've had their kid, they're going in separate ways, and, he's back in the game, right? But even when he was with her, he was, he'll go out for ice cream, pay for his own ice cream, and kind of see how she acts and behaves, sees if she, throws a tantrum of him not paying for her ice cream. Because he wants to know that the mother of his child, isn't using him in an opportunistic way. And for the most part, it's all good. It's been great. And he mentioned that there was times where, she was kind of milking it, saying, oh, we had a baby. And he's like, it's been 2 years. You should get a job, right? Stop being financially reliant on me. And he'll still provide enough support for his kid so that the mother of his kid isn't depressed, because then obviously that affects the kid. But you overall want to make sure that as a man, you set your boundaries, you set your frames in a respectful way that sets the right frame from the beginning, because when someone knows how much money you make, and by the way, this isn't just women, this is men too, this is friends, right? They're going to start trying to leech you. They're going to start trying to extract value from you sometimes, not all the time, and it's not every woman, it's not every man. This is just things that may occur. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I have never, ever, ever had friends of mine try to gold dig me or use me for money. I have had that from women, just my experience. And so you want to just be very careful and very strategic with what information you tell that intimate partner of yours. So that way, she's not using you, and that way you're avoiding gold diggers. So guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Marc. If you guys have any questions, you can message me on my Instagram, Snapchat, or Telegram, and you can join my Telegram inner circle. All of these links are in the description down below. And send me a message on social media. It'd be great to get in touch with you guys. You also can learn how to absolutely crush with online dating if you get the online seduction course. All you got to go to is this link, online-seduction.com. Make sure to grab a copy of the course. Learn this stuff, change your life forever. It's amazing, it really is. And you can also make sure to subscribe to our channel, click the bell notification so you're notified of new videos. And we have new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I love sharing this information with you guys. I've spent literally, at this point, 8 years traveling around the world to 50 plus countries and just learning so much, so fucking much about relationships and culture and people. And, I want to share this with you because I know a lot of you guys haven't had this opportunity. A lot of you guys need this to save yourself from a lot of misery, suffering, and confusion in your own relationships and in your own social life and dating life. So guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Marc. I'll talk to you very soon. We'll see you guys very soon. And please get in touch with me at all my social medias. It would be great to be in touch with you as well.